This is 10th Avenue, one of the most popular bikeways in Vancouver, but it's got a bit of a problem. Vancouver is still one of the best cities in North America to get around on a bike, with scenic routes along the seawall, protected lanes across bridges, and decent rail trails. But one of the unsung heroes of the network are the local street bikeways. Shared streets through neighborhoods that, when treated with a bit of traffic calming, can become some of the best places to traverse the urban landscape on two wheels. These routes have fewer traffic lights and allow you to zip across the city at a consistent pace, connecting you to almost anywhere you want to go. And when properly implemented throughout a neighborhood, can even help create vibrant spots worth hanging out. They account for the majority of Vancouver's bike network. While not as postcard-ready as the vaunted grade-separated and protected bike lane, they aren't to be underestimated. Even in the Netherlands, a place hailed as an urban cycling paradise, over 70% of their network consists of shared streets. However, here in Vancouver, our bikeways have recently seen the exacerbation of a relatively common problem: rat running. And this isn't some kind of rodent problem. Rat running is the use of residential or minor streets to bypass congestion, signals, or other delays on main roads, sometimes despite traffic calming or legal restrictions. While some drivers do this deliberately because they know the area well, others end up on these routes unintentionally when GPS navigation directs unfamiliar drivers through neighborhoods. And you might be thinking, why not? We have the extra space, let's use it, which may seem logical but ignores a host of side effects that extra through traffic creates, like new bottlenecks, noise and air pollution, and is linked to higher crash risk. At the very least, it turns a place that was once a decent route to get across the city on a bike into a traffic sewer. This discourages people from getting on a bike because they no longer feel safe, and for whom the alternative is often a car, which only adds to the already choked streets. While some traffic is to be expected with the current quality of the bike routes, it's never been this bad. So that begs the question, what the heck is going on? Well, just one street over from 10th is where you'll find ongoing construction of the Skytrain's Millennium Line extension that has gone into overdrive, meaning a closed stretch of Broadway between Quebec and Maine, with crews removing the bridge deck and rebuilding the road that is projected to last at least 4 months. And this has sent rat running way up, with eastbound drivers reaching 10th via Ontario Street and westbound taking 10th from Main and Kingsway and through a back alley to get back to Broadway. Here at the intersection of two bikeways, Ontario and 10th, drivers can be seen rolling by one after another at a rate of about 350 per hour. Just looking at the block between Ontario and Quebec, traffic is up to about 300 cars per hour, which is 6 times the city's own guidelines for all ages and abilities bikeways, or 3 times the special consideration limit of 100 per hour. Anything over that number would indicate a bike lane is needed. While metrics like cars per hour, average speeds, and whether or not there's parking on both sides of the street can help engineers and planners decide whether or not a space is welcome to most cyclists, the one that most of us can easily understand is the sniff test, which is, if you wouldn't be okay with your 8-year-old riding here, it's not good enough. Now, I would say most of our bikeways didn't pass the sniff test before, but this fails badly enough, you might as well tell the city to turn on a fan and light a match, because this is not acceptable for a bikeway, let alone what is seen as one of the best in the city. And the unfortunate result are crashes, with multiple incidents within the first few days of this closure. This hasn't happened out of a complete lack of a plan, but rather poor implementation, because there are detours in place meant to send eastbound traffic up Quebec, down 8th, then back onto Broadway, with westbound to head north up Kingsway, and then take 7th onward. This is made clear by directions from the city nudging drivers in the right direction. You just have to look for it on the internet. Because as it turns out, where they make it clear is on the city's website, asking drivers to please, pretty please, use alternate main routes and avoid shortcutting local streets and bike routes. The inevitable outcome are the convoys cutting through neighborhoods and single occupancy vehicles clogging up a detour meant primarily for the busiest bus route in North America, the 99B line. There are the odd local traffic-only sign that have been around long before the construction, but as we have seen, not an effective strategy, especially without enforcement, because without enforcement, there is no law at all. But where this whole fiasco is really a special kick in the gonads is what the mayor said a couple years ago regarding the bike lanes council voted to remove that were set to be built along the recently torn up Broadway corridor, saying that we don't need bike lanes along Broadway because we already have a full bike lane a block over on 10th. This bike lane. That's because we have limited funds, and this isn't La La Land after all. That money is better spent on other corridors, eh? To be fair, the bikeway network has been improving around the city, even with some long overdue upgrades coming to 10th, but the pace is simply too slow and does not make up for the lack of traffic management during closures like we're currently experiencing. So, what do we do now? Modal filters. That's really it, boring old modal filters. The first ones popped up in Shaughnessy in the 1980s to keep the riffraff from driving through the wealthy neighborhood. But in the mid-2010s, these started to be used strategically all over the city to create the types of spaces welcome to people walking and rolling. There are a bunch of styles you can find, like the right turn only, full-on bike and ped only filters, or the simple one-way like here at Quebec and 10th. But one of my favorites uses basically no physical barriers at all, like they have done in London's low-traffic neighborhoods. They use cameras to automatically enforce law breaking while allowing essential services like emergency vehicles to have free passage, and the absence of bollards removes that hazard for cyclists. Many of these may easily be defeatable, especially to those who are willing to disregard the rules, but they do an excellent job getting those traffic numbers down. While it would be nice if permanent solutions were implemented in concert with the construction projects or even before they began, we don't even need to go that far. There are low-cost solutions that can be implemented quickly to help restrict through traffic from entering the neighborhood. We are calling on our government to act now by installing low-cost, temporary modal filters and... Hello? Yeah, I'm literally recording it right now. Seriously? Fuck. Well, as it turns out, in the middle of the production of this video, something has been done after repeated outcries from concerned locals. A modal filter at 10th and Ontario restricting any southbound traffic from entering, and over on Main, a left turn restriction onto 10th. The results aren't too bad, with the rate of cars going down from 350 per hour at this intersection to just under 200. This is still well beyond the acceptable limits, with cars route running through the alleyways, taking the longer routes from streets further down, and it seems this has even pushed traffic to other local streets. So, as the guy who can't handle spicy wings likes to say,
another one, another one, another one, and another one.
While there is certainly much more to be done, this is a marked improvement that is worthy of a thumbs up. So credit where credit's due. Thank you, City of Vancouver, for listening. And while the squeaky wheel gets the grease, crying baby gets the milk, or whatever cliche best suits this occasion, the final and most important ask from this video wasn't, hey, this specific rat run is a problem, please fix it, but rather, make the forecast and implementation of traffic diversions standard practice for all future closures. We're asking the city to be prepared because this will happen again and again if interventions aren't put in place. And this is also an opportunity to address the surge in traffic on surrounding streets and implement measures that calm and protect the broader neighborhood. Because safe streets don't happen by accident. If we want less traffic, healthier neighborhoods, and streets that welcome people instead of speeding vehicles, we have to stop treating safety as optional and start treating it as essential infrastructure.